Good morning, friends, and welcome back one more time this week to Quick Thoughts Devotions. We're looking at some segments, some scriptures from John in chapter 4, looking at 3 responses that Jesus had for the Samaritan woman there at the well. We see how that initially she questioned Jesus and essentially said, "Who do you think you are?" Talking big and coming with all this, but Jesus is the Lord. He has the big answers. Not just the temporal, not just satisfying the flesh, but He has the living water, salvation for our souls. And in the last segment, she tried to take that answer and reduce it down to please my flesh. All this living water, well, give it to me so I don't have to carry water jugs anymore. But Jesus stayed the course, showed her that He was still concerned for her, and even more, that He could see past her facade, saw through to the sinful creature that she was, yet stayed with her to deal with her about her soul's condition and her sinful state. Now, what kind of a God, what kind of a Lord would do this? What kind of a Lord would stay the course when we try to deflect Him? What kind of a God would look through to see the sinful creatures that we are and yet still draw us, still work with us to complete the salvation of our souls? I think we find the answer to that in today's reading. We'll pick up John chapter 4, verse 22. Jesus speaking. He said, "You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such people to worship Him. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth." My friends, this is the kind of God that would do all those things. This is the kind of God that we serve as His humble children. This is the kind of God that deals with us to save our souls. The God that sees through everything. This God that even though gospel messages and religions have been distorted, Jesus said, "You worship what you don't know. We worship what we do know." There is still the true message, and it is this: God seeks those who would worship Him in spirit and in truth. And she was asking about place to worship. The woman was again trying to distract Jesus. Should we worship here or in this temple or on that mountain in the temple? And Jesus said, place doesn't matter. What matters is position of the heart. What matters is submitting our wills to the Lord. What matters is responding when the Spirit calls upon our heart to bring us to repentance and salvation, to bring His children into a closer walk and closer understanding with Him, to bring us to let loose of sinful activities that may still remain in our life. This is the kind of God we serve, a God that is bigger than any traditions or any names or any geographic boundaries, a God that can reach all through that and say, this is what I require. I require you to respond when I call to you. And you may try to distract me, and you may try to think upon temporal things, but God's Spirit will deal with you, looking through, seeing your sinfulness, knowing everything about you, and draw you to Him, because He seeks people to worship Him in spirit and in truth. My friends, it doesn't matter where you were born, where you grew up, what traditions your family may or may not have had. What matters is a sincere and honest and submissive response to the gospel call when it comes upon your heart and life.